and welcome to The Art of Being Human. On the last segment, I was talking to you about how you can be tracked down by the use of the internet and how dangerous that can be if you have a stalker or somebody who is very problematic in your life. So I'm going to go into that a little bit more, just things that I have found out about the internet. And I want to say at the onset, I am not opposed to using the internet. I am not opposed to using computers. They can be helpful, they can be time savers, and in some cases they've even saved people's lives. Plus I find it fascinating and everybody is using them. So that's not a problem. What you have to be careful of is the kind of information that you put about yourself on the internet. And the problem arises from the fact that once it's on the internet, it is there forever. You can't get it back. And that has caused a lot of problems for some people. So I wanted to review with you today some of the things that can occur with the internet, just so you will be aware of the fact that if you're not careful what you put in there on the internet, you will find that it may cause you some problems later on. For example, my brother-in-law wanted to see what he could find out about a friend of mine. No malice involved, no evil intent. He was just curious as to what he could pick up on the computer about her. And this particular person he was checking on was a friend of mine. She does not have a computer. She's an elderly lady. She does not use the internet. She never has, wouldn't even know what it meant to have social media. She's just an ordinary citizen, a very nice lady, and she's an ordinary citizen, and there's nothing different about her that anyone would even want to know about her. But this is what he was able to find out just by looking up her name on the internet. He found out her name, her age, her address, her phone number, directions to her house, and pictures of her house. Now, what if she'd had a stalker? What if there was somebody that was going to try to cause trouble for her? He could have found, or she could have found, the same thing with just a flick of a switch, just looking at the right place at the right time. All of that information could have been given about her, and it might have put her in danger. And she did not put anything on the computer about herself. She doesn't have one. She doesn't own one. Now, there is another example. There's a website available where all of the information that you have talked about yourself, not digging in to try to find things that you have not revealed, but just what you have posted yourself on the internet. There is a website that has taken everything about you from every source and put it together in one place on a website, and from that a profile has been made about you. So if anyone wants to find out anything about you, they can look on that particular website. Anything that you yourself has posted is on there. And it isn't a case of where someone's trying to dig into your background and find out something that you don't want to have known because you want to have it hidden. That's not the thing. It's things that you have said about yourself, posted on social networking sites, and they put it all together in one place. Anyone can look you up, find out anything about you that you have ever said about yourself. And in addition to that, a profile has been made of you. Well, think of what advertisers can do with that, or think of what a stalker can do with that. That site actually exists, and so, but it's based upon what you yourself have already said. There was a case, as another example. I'm just going through some examples just to give you an idea. There was a teenage girl and a teenage boy, and they were kind of boyfriend and girlfriend, and she wrote him a letter that included some intimate things, and she intended for that to be private. She did it through email. She didn't talk to him about it. She didn't call him. She put it on email. And he got a kick out of that and decided that some of his friends would also get a kick out of it. So he emailed the letter, including her name, of course, to a few friends. And then the friends thought it was hilarious, and they emailed it to a few other friends who emailed it to a few other friends who emailed it to a few other friends. And you can see where I'm going with this. Within the space of about a week or a week and a half, that intimate letter that she thought he would keep private had circled all over the United States and all over Europe. And this poor girl was very, very embarrassed because of the things that she had said, but it was too late to take it back. Everybody had read it. Everybody knew she wrote it. So if you want something to be kept private, it's probably better not to put it on the internet because you know it is going to go everywhere. Once it's out there permanently. And so you need to understand that. At one of the colleges where I was on staff for a number of years, the students had a website up. It's been taken out now, but the students had a website up where they put pictures of students who had passed out drunk. And they were encouraged to take pictures of people who were drunk, people who had passed out when they were drunk, and put those online for everybody to see. And so everybody could go to that website, and it was a very popular website. They saw all of their pictures of their friends that had passed out laying on the floor and all of that because they were too drunk. Now, the website has been taken down now, I understand, but every newscaster that reported on this, and that was all of the major newscasters, ABC, NBC, CBS, and a lot of others that had reported on that, and all of the newscasters said the same thing. What they said was, how is this going to affect them as they get old enough to try to get a job? What's it going to do to their marketability in terms of finding a job? And the truth of the matter is that if you are trying to get a job and you have an interview with somebody and the interview goes pretty well, what they will do, a prospective employer will do, is to get on social media and find out what they can about you behind your back. Now, some people will actually ask permission to do that. Other people won't. They'll just do it. And they'll get information from you from various sources. Of course, if you say no and they ask to do it and you say no, then they assume that you've got something to hide. But if you say yes or they just do it, then they can get all kinds of information about you that might make it impossible for you to get a job. I know that this is for a fact because if they see you drunk or they see you in an odd position or they see you in an improper situation, a picture that isn't maybe in the best of taste, people have been known not to hire people on the basis of what they found on the internet. So supposing that you're like 16 years old, 17 years old, and you go to a party and you post some pictures online about yourself or somebody else does it for you, and you think it's rather funny and cute and you're pretty cool about it, and you don't think it's any big deal. So at that age, it may seem like not a big deal to you, but now you're 22, you've just graduated from college and you're looking for a job. And you've forgotten about all those pictures that are online, some of them on your own social media, some on other people's social media, but you've forgotten all about it. It wasn't a big deal at the time. You just thought it was kind of a joke. But now a prospective employee is looking at all of those pictures of you that you have posted yourself or other people have posted, and they find you in an inappropriate attire or just maybe a tasteless kind of photo, and you don't get the job. Because they are going to be judging you on the basis of what they see about you. But that, even though the pictures were old, and even though you were just a kid at the time, now they look at those pictures and they say, this is the kind of person that he or she is, and I don't want them on my staff if this is the way they are. And you get denied employment on the basis of things that you have posted online about yourself. And this is why I say you must be terribly, terribly, terribly careful about what you post on yourself. Now, in terms of stalkers, what would prevent a stalker from going online and finding out things about yourself? What if you're a mental health professional and you post things about yourself? I've always said, and I will continue to say it, that if you are involved with mental health care, or if you are in a helping profession meaning you're a counselor, you're a teacher, you're a social worker, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, whatever, social media is not the place for you to be posting anything about yourself that is problematic, because what happens is that a client, a patient, however you call them, looks on social media, they see things about you, and they change their ideas of who you are on the basis of what they see in social media. Now, it doesn't mean that you've posted anything that's bad, but people are curious about the people who take care of them, especially in the mental health field. They're so curious about it that they will try to find information about their doctors, their psychiatrists, their nurses, their caregivers, their social workers, and so forth. They'll go online to find out whatever they can, mainly out of curiosity. It's not that they want to do anything bad. It's just the fact that they're curious as to who you are. The danger comes in the fact that they form their opinion of you not on the basis of who you are now, but on the basis of what they see in the media, both past and present. And what will happen is they will change their opinion of you. They will change how they feel about you. And that could, if you're a counselor, a psychiatrist, or a nurse, somebody who's working with them directly in terms of their mental health, that can change the nature of the therapy. They think they know something more about you. They don't know the real you. They only know what they've been posted online. And that may be the real you, but it may not be the real you. You may have played a joke on somebody and you thought it was hilarious. You posted it online, and they think that that's permanently who you are. It can change the way that they view you to the point where the therapy is affected. Remember, trust is the basis of therapy. Relationships and trust are the basis of therapy. And if you don't have trust for the person who's taking care of you, you won't make the progress that you need to make. You may not make any progress at all, or you may be so concerned about the character of the person that's taking care of you that you don't trust them enough to make progress. If you think your therapist is not who you would like he or she to be in terms of his character or her character, because you found something online and you just happen to be their client or their patient, then you're not going to make the progress that you want to make. But conversely, if a therapist puts things online that they don't want their clients to know, not that it's bad, but it could alter the way that the clients view them, and as a result of that, they don't make the progress with the client that they would like to make. So it's very important that you know that whatever you put online is there forever. Now, I know that some jobs, prison jobs, working in the court system, people are not allowed to have social media. The danger being that if you're working in a prison or you have something to do with incarceration, jail, court work, or whatever, anyone might come out of there feeling that you're to blame for their problems. They might misdirect their anger toward the people who convicted them, the people who put them in jail, the people who supervised you in jail. That what happens is that they get a biased view of who you really are. And some of them may end up by being stalkers, or they may want revenge. I've had personal situations where I've helped people who were involved with court systems, not that I was directly involved, because I wasn't, but I knew of people who were, and they were people out of jail looking for them because they wanted revenge. And I have taken those people in, sometimes in my own home, to take care of them until the danger has passed. But if it was and this happened many years ago, but if it was a situation where a computer was involved and a person could look up information, it can be very, very dangerous indeed. But I think for the most part, I mean, many of us have had stalkers. I've had stalkers myself, so I'm ultra sensitive to this and maybe more intense about it than what I would need to be. But it is a problem, and you just need to know that. So I'm going to continue with this here, and please excuse the phone. You have to watch what you do. There was a man, here's another true story. There's a man who was trying to get a job, and he was talking on the phone. And he didn't think about it, but he was in the bathroom talking on the phone with somebody who wanted to hire him. And without thinking, he flushed the toilet. And the person who was interviewing him on the phone realized that that's where he was, and he didn't get the job because of that. Now, that seems silly. You know, that seems inconsequential, but that's the way it is. You have to be careful. I've worked with kids who wanted to get a job, but they also dyed their hair pink, you know, and the braids down the back and all of that. And I would have to say to them, I don't care if you dress that way. It doesn't bother me at all. But an employer that you want to impress because you want a job, that's something else again. And you have to be careful what people perceive. Perception is everything. What you perceive a person to be will be what will affect you in terms of getting a job. I might be a person that you may perceive in a certain way. If I do something different or act differently or put something online, you may perceive me differently if I've done that. And therefore, that could influence a relationship. That could influence anything that has to do with getting a job. So you just be very, very, very careful about what you put on because it makes a difference. Now, going on from here, you don't have to wait. You don't have to know what everybody knows about you, but this is what's going to happen. People are going to perceive you in a certain way. They're going to assume that you are a certain person based upon what they know about you. Now, it's true that everything is based upon relationships. There's healing in relationships. If you're in therapy, the relationship will help to heal you, a relationship with a therapist. If you want some help and if you go to any place to get help, it's the relationship that will help you. If you are a person who's interested in sports, then it is the relationship that you have with your coach. It's going to help you or not. Whatever it is, anything has to do with relationships. And so it's important that the perception that anyone has of yourself is an accurate representation of yourself and not something that's based on something that you did a few years ago. Keep that in mind because it's going to be very, very important. Now, I'm going to close it here because it's too late for me to start something else. And next time, we're going to go into the way that people who are mentally ill and are stalkers can't have relationships with other people, why they can't have friends with people, how people make friends, what it means to mental health, and what it means to you if you're in danger because of a stalker. So we'll continue with this next time. Please join me then. I forgot the phone.